Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 10-8 podcast. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I think we're up to like 446 subscribers as of this morning. Maybe 500 by the end of the month, right? But welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to share some information about some upcoming events we have, and we think it's very important to get this information out there. One of the requests from across the state as we visited with our sheriffs and chiefs was to bring high-level training to our law enforcement partners. And I think what we're fixing to announce is some of the best training that I've seen come through the state of Arkansas in my career. I'm not just saying that because we're in these positions. These are just highly qualified individuals that are bringing topics to our law enforcement community that we've just never seen before. And so we want to talk about that today. But what we want to start talking about first, or announce first, is we held a leadership wellness resiliency conference in Northwest Arkansas back at the first of the year. Fantastic turnout. Over 100 chiefs and sheriffs and senior law enforcement officers came to that event. The request was to do one here in Central Arkansas to reach more of our community. And so we've got one established and set for, let me find the flyer. I told our production manager I had props today, cheat sheets. So June 18th. At the Central Academy at the Saline County Technical Center out on Interstate 30. We're going to host the second Wellness Leadership Resiliency Performance. We're looking at changing that word, wellness to performance event. And Chris, you kind of want to talk about what our goals for that event would be?
Well, when you consider what we're dealing with statewide, we recognize that burnout, wellness, resiliency, retention, recruitment, a lot of those things circle around performance optimization, but they also focus on leadership and resilience. And we know all those things combined together are what's going to help us recruit, retain, and keep people. Right. And wellness is so important. As you know, both of you gentlemen know, the last 16 months, we've lost 6 officers. 5 of those were by suicide, including one last weekend. And so we know this is a significant challenge, and we have really it is our duty, it is our responsibility as leaders to begin to educate our local law enforcement officers, but also our agencies on how we can create healthier environments, again, to recruit, retain, and help folks not only survive but thrive. And we can do that, but it's going to take focus, and that's really when we're doing this summit, that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, so it's not a typical a day of classroom lecture.
Correct.
It's sharing ideas, concepts. We do have some speakers, a panel set up.
Yes, sir.
But really it's about getting law enforcement officers, senior leaders, trainers in the room to recognize how important this is, how we as the Department of Public Safety can provide assets and resources to them.
Correct.
And maybe we can talk about some of the upcoming training we have for additional resources. But we've got some really special people that are going to be there.
Absolutely.
Chief Scott Miller from Siloam Springs, who is just such an advocate for leadership and wellness. His personal story about what their department went through, he shares that, talks about that, how they built their team. I think he may be the only agency in the state of Arkansas that doesn't have a recruiting issue, and it's based on the culture they built, right?
Amazing culture.
Dan Bradley from the High Ground Foundation, and what the foundation is helping our law enforcement community across the state, providing resources that obviously we don't have the funding to bring to the table, and allowing partnerships with some resources that are just pretty amazing.
I agree.
And then a new friend of ours, Jeff Spivey, former chief in Irving, Texas, just a great, I think, mentor in the wellness leadership realm. Really impressed meeting him over the last few months and having those conversations, but he's going to speak to us about the success of the program in Irving and then some of the work that he's continuing to do as he's retired.
Right.
But again, it's not the typical setting. It's going to be more conversational, I'd say.
Yep. I think that's totally correct. And the goal is, and I think, Director, giving you a lot of props, you and the Colonel both, that our focus has really been on how do we grow our individual officers and how do we strengthen leadership, and then what can we do at the senior leadership level in the state. And we're doing that. We are mobilizing resources. We're offering new training classes. We're going to talk about those while we're there. We're rolling out a chaplain program this fall statewide, including training that we're helping pay for. So we're actually not just talking about the challenges in leadership and wellness and resiliency. We're doing something about it.
Yeah, building resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're going to, at this conference, roll out some of those, talk about those classes that are available now. A lot of those we're teaching at. We're going and teaching. We're going to talk specifically about those.
Yeah, and I appreciate that the work that you guys have put in to develop those classes that we are personally teaching. But having these individuals come in and provide a different perspective is very important.
I agree.
They've seen different things, been in different regions, and see the problem maybe from a different vantage point. And so I think it's important that we all share. But again, that's going to be June 18th. From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We will provide lunch, no cost. Everybody hear that? No cost. Free training.
I love
free training. You can register on the portal. Please do. We have plenty of room. I mean, we can seat up to 200 in that room, and I'd love to see 201, somebody standing in the back corner.
That'd be awesome.
That would be fantastic. But then let's talk about some of the other things that we've got coming to the table. You talked about the additional resources we're building out through the Department of Public Safety for our LEO partners across the state. A regional response team.
Yes.
We're looking at doing that. Peers. We know that our larger agencies do a fairly good job at developing internal wellness programs, but the majority of our agencies are less than 10 officers. And so what we want to be able to do is provide those resources where we can to help those. And that includes peer-to-peer counselors, chaplains, a response team. Trying to set those up regionally across the state so we can pull resources, mental health resources. Just kind of where we are with that.
Yeah, we've got, I mentioned the chaplain program. We're going to do a 40-hour chaplain class in September. We're going to be rolling that out quickly where people can sign up. So if they've got a local chaplain that they want to add, we will train them. Well, we're absorbing the cost for that. So that's going to be a 40-hour class. It will certify them. We're also offering folks CIT training. As you know, crisis negotiation training is an option. But we are going this summer to do peer training, and we're doing train the trainer. So we'll be able to roll that out as well. We've got a number of agencies wanting to have peers trained. We're working on that this summer to begin to offer those classes. And then, of course, all of our leadership classes, those that are already ready to go now. So it's pretty robust what we have available.
Yeah, a year from now, we're going to look back and I think going to be very proud of what we've done on a state level. I want to use this word again, free.
Free.
So,
free.
Look, we all understand we have sent peers to be trained before. We know that's a substantial cost. Once we get our trainers spun up and up to speed, that training will be free to anyone across the state that wants to attend. And then they can take that back to their own department and start building out their wellness teams. Not saying we won't call on you to maybe help us respond to these regional events, but we know how important it is to support our local agencies during their time of need.
Well, imagine the vision is imagine each region having crisis response teams available that have trained peers there, that we've got counselors that we've already that are culturally competent, that they're available, that we've got chaplains that are qualified, so that when there is an event like there was last weekend, that we've got teams that can mobilize. And then at the state level, we've got Sergeant Lewis, the wellness unit here, that can respond as well, which we do. And so it's really just beefing that up. But honestly, at the local agency, we want to do the best that we can to provide those local departments local resources.
Well, here's my thought. The burden's heavy.
It is.
Matter of fact, I've never felt a heavier burden in my 30-year career. It'll be 30 years in this summer. I've never felt a heavier burden. And for us to be able to carry this as a profession, we're going to have to divide and conquer.
That's right.
We're going to have to divide that load and figure out a way to carry it and provide the resources needed. But I'm really proud of you guys for putting this together and all the work you're doing to see it accomplished. Now, we have some great partners, Little Rock PD, Fayetteville, Hot Springs. We have some partners that have got Jonesboro that have wellness teams, Conway. But again, let's spread that load out. And that'll be some of the things we're talking about on June 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m.
And I want to mention, too, and I know, like you talked about, we're starting to get subscribers. I get frequently now people say, hey, I was watching this. It was fantastic. if you're an officer out there and you're struggling, or you've got a friend that's struggling, you need to reach out to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have folks available now to help.
Yeah.
And, we don't want to be on the back end of these things. We want to get out in front of them. And so if you see somebody that's struggling, you need to say something. Reach out to us. It's all confidential. Yep. The goal is just to be able to respond and help.
And as leaders, one of the things we preach constantly is know your people.
Correct. That's right.
And when they're off, have that conversation with them.
To have the courage to
have the courage to have that conversation and have a meaningful conversation. Don't just walk by and say, "Hey, are you okay?" when you know there's something wrong.
That's right.
And I will tease this, that we are in discussions with some different products and vendors that bring even more resources to the table. I don't think we're at a point where we can really announce that,
right.
But we are looking for additional ways that officers can literally have it at their fingertips.
I agree.
Literally have resources, either that's a coaching standpoint, lessons learned, classes, whatever it may be, but literally have it at their fingertips. And so hopefully we'll be able to announce that pretty soon as well.
I agree, and that's exciting. I'll tell you, one of the areas also that's exciting to me is we're going to start offering family classes, because we recognize that when an officer, male or female, signs up and raises their right hand, really their whole family's volunteering.
The whole family takes that. Yeah.
And so what we want to begin to do is provide resources to the families as well. And so that's one of the other initiatives we're looking at. I'm very excited about it.
And you know where that idea came from? A basic academy class.
That's right.
We were teaching the leadership class at one of the academies, and it was just nearly an afterthought. Kind of polled the class, would you attend a family class if we did it after hours and your spouse or significant other could attend? And everybody in the class raised their hand. And we've done it consistently since.
I was at that class. It was well attended.
Yeah.
Waycaster and his wife done it. And
But now you're doing it, right?
Yeah, I'm responsible for it now. It's going to be awesome. Exciting.
Congratulations.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Hey, but the truth of it is we do know that how effective that class has been, because we have had officers come back and say they were in a broken marriage and that they are now working on that. They have been in very dark places and are seeing a path forward. So we do know that those efforts are working. Again, the importance of the Leadership, Wellness, and Resiliency Conference is to share those concepts, ideas, and resources, so we can get ahead of this a little bit.
If you're a leader at a local law enforcement agency, really sergeant and above, definitely chief, sheriff, under sheriff, you need to be at these conferences, because it's going to be really helpful.
Yeah, open format. I mean, we're going to, just if you're an attendee, you're going to have a voice at this conference, because we want the feedback. We think we're checking the boxes, but if we're missing the boat on something, this would be a great opportunity to share some new ideas. And look, we've stolen stuff from Little Rock. Others have stolen things from us. There's no use in us reinventing the wheel. Let's get everybody in a room, get on the same page, and try to help solve some of these problems.
Yes, sir.
All right, so moving on to the next thing. I know we're on a tight schedule today. So again, the request across the state was to bring in high-level classes for our LEOs. And through some special funding, some legwork on our end, I think we've brought in 3 of the best classes that we could, dealing with high-performance leadership and resiliency, and that's kind of where we want to go now. One of our former guests, Steve Barrett, Barrett Strategic Leadership, has agreed to come out and do 2 leadership classes for us. The first one being in Pine Bluff on June 19th, and the second, July 16th, at Springdale Police Department. These are 6-hour classes, high-speed, low-drag. First of all, I was mesmerized the day we had him in here on the podcast. His sincerity and his passion for what he's doing. When I went back and rewatched that podcast, man, I was taking notes, literally taking notes. But Steve is a former Navy SEAL, Command Master Chief, 23 years experience in the special warfare arena, led teams at the highest level. And so bringing his perspective of leadership and his passion to our LEOs is pretty significant. Agreed. But June 19th is the first class.
Correct.
Plenty of seats left. Going to be held in Pine Bluff, Southeast Arkansas. We get a lot of cries and wants out of Southeast Arkansas. We're coming to you
This is gonna be
guys.
an opportunity.
But here's an opportunity, right? So please sign up through the portal for those classes. June 19th, Pine Bluff, July 16th in Springdale. Again, a little more than a half-a-day class, but it'll be well worth your attendance. And if you want to see who Steve really is, go back and watch that podcast.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's amazing. We're going to get him back. Matter of fact, we were kind of going back and forth a while ago. We'll have a little SEAL competition and get our two SEAL friends, Clint Bruce and Steve, on opposite ends of that couch.
That'll be awesome.
That would be cool.
I'm gonna have to.
We just sit here and watch.
take a whole lot of notes.
No questions needed, right? We'll
Right.
just go.
Let them go.
Right.
And so, speaking of Clint, Clint has been involved. Clint Bruce, again, another former Navy SEAL, entrepreneur, one of my mentors for the past 15 years. Very special man. Him and Dan Bradley, have helped form the foundation here in Arkansas, High Ground, which are providing assets. You'll meet Dan at the Leadership Wellness Resiliency Conference or Summit. But Clint is bringing his team of speakers in to do 2 classes. It's called Pursuing Elite, the captain's course, and it's the captain referring to the Navy, the driver of the ship, those type things. And they're coming to Central Arkansas, again, at the Central Academy. They're at the Saline County Technical Center, June 13th.
Wow.
Plenty of room in that class, June 13th. And then we're going to Jonesboro up in Northeast Arkansas on August 8th. Again, when you talk about people performing at the highest level, these guys have been there and done that.
They've done it.
Right? Clint, we've been working on trying to get Clint hooked up with Coach Pittman and the Razorbacks because he happened to be the motivational coach for Ohio State last year when they won the national championship. And I feel like since Clint's an Arkansan, maybe we can get him to, help us along the way.
Well, and I'd like to add to this that with these kind of courses that are being offered, and again, we're looking nationwide at what's being offered out there. These are some of the best courses in the country.
Yeah.
And for us to make these available for free, you need to show up. If you're a leader in your organization, you need to be at
What was that word again?
Leader in your organization.
No,
for
how much
free.
it cost? For free.
For free.
Free word.
Unbelievable.
For unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
For,
yeah, these are classes that you would be paying premium dollars to attend. What they're doing in the private sector and some of the fees they're charging for us to be able to get them here to offer our law enforcement officers for free is phenomenal. But Clint and Dan and his team, they're bringing in the whole team to do these 2 classes. June 13th, Central Academy here in the Benton area, Saline County Technical Center, all-day class, 8 hours of CLEST-approved credit.
Yep, you get credit for it.
Get credit for attending.
Right.
And then August 8th in Jonesboro. So, again, please register for those classes as quickly as you can and take advantage of that.
Now, are you going to be signing black and white headshots at these deals, autographs?
They might be. I'm not. I try to stay away from headshots. There's too much shine. So, the last but not least, and I think this is a partnership that we've talked about really developing long term, is Dr. Javadi and the Magnus Leadership Program. We all know Justin King. He's a former ASAC here for the DEA in the state of Arkansas. Phenomenal leader, but he is now working with Dr. Javadi in the National Command College. And they are coming in to do a 2-day class at the Benton High School on June 26th and 27th. And you talk about a nationally recognized program. These guys are teaching at the very highest level. I mean, subject matter experts on leadership, wellness, resiliency, how to build high-functioning organizations. And so that's a 2-day class, June 26th and June 27th at the Benton High School. Full days. And, bring your bucket because we're going to fill it up.
Yep.
Bring your bucket.
This is the opportunity again. And we all know my role, the leadership side and development side and the wellness side. You can't get better speakers than this. And we're bringing them here for free. If you're interested in developing in your team and developing yourself, you need to be at these events.
Yeah,
Dr. Clem, as you were saying that, when I think about all the training that we're going to roll out over the next few weeks, we're changing the atmosphere in law enforcement as it relates to wellness and resiliency. I would love to see people show up. The training that we've been doing with our basic academies, some of the feedback we've been getting from what we've been doing it's been awesome. And so I know the information that these national speakers are going to put out, it's going to be awesome. So
yeah, and the feedback from what we've built internally at the basic academy and advanced classes, it's been a game changer for me. It has really been eye-opening. I'm passionate about it. You're a subject matter expert. You're a phenomenal leader, but we didn't know what we were lacking until we started doing some of this. And we understand this is probably one of the biggest failures in our profession, is to recognize the need for servant leadership combined with wellness and resiliency components. That, again, we bring officers in, we hire them, we train them, then we retire them healthy, right?
Oh, that's the dream.
Each of these classes that we're offering are going to help us put more tools in the toolbox to do that. And I think that's pretty cool. And we always say we'd rather lead than follow. This is leading. Building partnerships and relationships with people like this are going to allow us to help change the profession across the state with our LEO partners.
People need to make time. You need to get your schedules out. You need to look at your calendars. And you need to make sure you attend all of these if you can, because each one of them is going to provide a different perspective. But this is an awesome opportunity for us to grow and develop as leaders in the state.
Yeah, we've made the comment in this room that no one owns the leadership arena. So I can learn something new from each of these guys every day. And I have. I've talked to them all. I've been in presentations with them. And, they fill my bucket.
Me too.
So let's talk about another area, and we'll wrap up on this. So another complaint, we get those, Kelvin gets most of them, but one of the complaints that we have been getting is our online training and the quality of those online classes. Well, we're proud to announce that we have bought into some new software, some new techniques, hired
nice software.
Hired an educational coordinator by the name of Barbara, sitting over there off camera.
Yes, she is.
But she's taken charge of that with a couple other staff members, Shannon McEwen, and they are developing what I think is some of the best online training I've seen. And so as of today, right now, you can go on the portal, and there's a number of brand new classes out there. We've got the Crime Victims Reparation Board class, robbery and burglary investigations, the basic of stress management. Does that not tie into everything else we're talking about? Dealing with stress, pressure, and burnout. Stressor. There you go. That's how much.
Like it.
That's how much pressure I'm under right now.
Honorary Texan. You're making up words like that.
He created a new word: pressure and stress.
There,
a stressor.
Yeah, I'm always in a hurry to get something done, so I'll just combine the two words. Imposter syndrome, what it is and how to overcome it. Developing a growth mindset. Leading with emotional intelligence. We talk about that a lot. Resolving conflict with coworkers. Oh, listen to this one. Financial literacy for law enforcement 1. Understanding and improving your credit score. How many officers have we seen turn their lives upside down because they didn't know how to handle their finances?
Budget.
Time management essentials. Guide to negotiate and pursuing in a professional setting. Write like a boss. Narcan administration for law enforcement officers. So that's the ones we've got completed now. We're working on redoing that entire book of business, bringing it up to the quality that it needs to be. And look, I've suffered through those classes, some of them for the last 20 plus years since we started doing online training, and we understand that it's difficult.
This online training here, several of those classes that you named, I've, as Barbara, developed them and pushed them out for me to look at. The quality of those classes is top notch, and so compared to what we were rolling out years ago, this is some very good,
competent people, right? Surround yourself with competent people. Give them the tools that they need to do the job,
and let them go.
Utilize technology to its utmost, and put out a good product, and that's what staff's doing. So we're proud of them for doing that. Man,
it excites me. This excites me so much because when you think of what we're doing with the leadership team, appreciate you so much, the colonel so much, the direction that we've got right now to really improve our industry. We're doing it. We're absolutely doing
Changing the environment.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up, but I want to go over these dates one more time. Magnus Leadership, June 26th and 27th, Benton High School. It's an arena setting or a auditorium setting, plenty of seats available. I think we can probably do about 70 in there. June 26th, 27th, free, 8:30 to 4:30. Come join us. Pursuing Elite, Clint Bruce and his amazing staff, they're all overachievers. You know, we say that about Clint. You get Clint in here, and he's kind of a big fella, and to think that he went to the Naval Academy, played ball, played in the NFL, and then the NFL wasn't hard enough, so he went to the teams.
Marine Corps.
I mean, a little bit of an overachiever.
Right.
But Pursuing Elite, the captain's course, June 13th at the Central Academy. Again, free of charge, 8 hours, 8 to 4. August 8th, Jonesboro at Centennial Bank, 2901 East Highland. Again, completely free, 8-hour courses. Some of the most phenomenal men and women that I've ever met teaching those courses. And then our buddy Steve Barrett, a great friend, hope to have him back in the studio very soon. June 19th coming up really quick, Southeast Arkansas. Man, sign up for that class. June 19th, Pine Bluff Public Library.
Pine Bluff Public Library.
And then in Springdale, July 26th at the Springdale Police Department. So let's close out one more thing. You get the Leadership Summit, man.
Yeah.
Close us out on that.
Man, June 18th, please come.
Yep.
Make time to be there. We're going to talk about all of what you've talked about today. We're going to talk about wellness. We're going to talk about resiliency. We're going to give you some tools and resources that day. We're going to talk about the different courses that are being offered. This is an opportunity for you to come and learn. We're going to equip you. We're going to empower you. And we're going to support you to get out there and make a difference in the lives of our men and women.
Well, and more importantly, we're going to listen to you. So anybody in that room that day has a voice at
That's
the
right.
table, right? And
That's
so, yeah, we're going to share what we're doing, but we also want you to share with us what's
Yes,
working
sir.
and what's not working.
Fantastic.
So let's wrap this up. Man, 30 minutes went by quick.
Wow.
You guys
That was
talk a
there.
lot. I appreciate y'all
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
Appreciate your leadership.
Thank you,
First
sir.
of all, we talk about leading and not following. Dr. Clem, what you have built in the state of Arkansas is
Awesome.
phenomenal.
Awesome.
We know that you're one of 7 on a statewide level that are currently working on this, putting the entire state under the umbrella. It's pretty amazing what you and the team have accomplished, and we're very proud of that. But as always, we want to thank the governor for allowing us to be in these positions of leadership. Colonel Hager, Secretary Hager, for his leadership with the Department of Public Safety and supporting our mission. And then our Attorney General. What a fantastic studio we
appreciative.
have. And then let's not forget our staff.
Yep.
Man, there's nothing
Staff's
that we
amazing.
do. There's nothing that we do that is not staff driven,
Agreed.
and we couldn't be in the positions we are and without them. And then our production management team over here behind us.
Thank you all. Thank you.
They're
Thank you.
they're pretty amazing. Jonathan even takes some of the sheen off. I don't know how he does it. But anyway, from all of us at the Department of Public Safety and the Division on Law Enforcement
Like and
Standards and
subscribe.
Training. Yeah, oh yeah. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
Please.
We want 500 of you by the end of the month.
Yes.
So,
Do it.
all right. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.